Weed, natural gas, and tech companies. That is what we are going to be talking about this week on stocks that I am going to be trading and what I'm going to be focused on for my market list this week, January 21st, 2019. Hey guys, so in this week's video, we are going to be talking about the main stocks that I am focused on and will be trading. There's a couple stocks that are in the tech industries that I see as potentially good long-term positions, long swing trades that might actually be really good. Also looking at a couple different positions in terms of UGAS, which is a positive natural gas ETF. We're going to look at the charts for the short term, long term, and where I see my entry and exits and what I'm going to be looking for this current week, especially as the weather has been so cold all across the country, and why I've decided to take a swing trade position on that. The last one we're going to be talking about is CRON, ticker symbol CRON, which is a weed stock, how that relates to CGC, and just some of the chart patterns that we need to be aware of if we are going to be trading this and looking for a long position in it, or if I'm going to be taking a short in it. So let's jump into those really quickly. All right, guys, so pulling up the chart here, we are taking a look at ticker symbol UGAS. So as you do know, I've traded this stock over and over and over again. Right now, we're currently looking at the 180-day chart here. We just have a zoomed in time frame of about the past 3 months as opposed to the past 6 months. And looking at some of the support and resistance lines, if we're looking at this from the 180-day chart here and kind of the last little bit, how would I shrink this a little bit so I am not taking up so much of the chart here. There we go. We pull this over a little bit and we should be good to go. Taking a look at the chart here, you are going to be looking at kind of a long line of support that we've had dating all the way back to kind of the fall months. Taking a look at this though, I'm not so much concerned about the 180-day chart. I want to be talking about what's a little bit more relevant. I do want to point out the fact though that on this 180-day chart, looking at the MACD indicator, you are still seeing kind of a bearish pattern. You're seeing a lot of selling volume and a lot of selling pressure going on right through here. It is getting less and less right now, and so we're looking at kind of seeing where this MACD line is going to cross over, and that is going to be a bullish indicator. The other nice thing is we're not looking at really overbought or oversold indicators right now in terms of the RSI, so really nothing big that this is telling us in terms of whether it is a good buy or sell. What I have based most of my research and most of my decisions off of is the fact that with the colder weather going on right now and the massive sell-off that we've seen over time, looking at the natural gas chart, this is actually the futures for /NG or natural gas, you're going to be seeing here where we had these massive spikes earlier on, or I shouldn't say earlier on, later on in 2018, and we saw this massive sell-off. If you look at the RSI and everything, RSI was really low down here at approximately in the low to mid 20s, and it really sold off to levels that it shouldn't have. I mean, during this time of the year, usually you would see natural gas being up at a higher price point, and we just were not seeing that. So we did see a nice big swing up, almost kind of forming like a cup and handle, but this handle should continue to trend up if it is going to keep that. But what we found here on the 180-day chart is that it's reached some different lines of support. So this was a previous line of support. You can see that it did kind of trend below this, and it has wicked and actually had some bodies, 4-hour candles that have dipped below. But if you do take a look at the RSI indicator as well, you're going to see where it should start to peak, where your MACD, should start to trend above here, and this would obviously be an indication of some green buys or green candles where this should start to trend up. Now I've drawn a line of resistance, and this is some potential resistance to keep in mind because it has been creating lower highs. Every single high has been lower, which is obviously a bearish indication. So that's something to keep in mind and pay attention to. What I'm really looking for in terms of the chart patterns and everything with natural gas is that with there being so much cold weather going on across the United States, California is getting a ton of rain, the Rocky Mountains are getting a lot of snow. I even know like the southeast, almost like Arkansas has been getting snow, northeast especially, Midwest, you guys have been just getting pounded. Ohio I know has had a ton, New York has had a ton. There's been a lot of snow falling across the United States. Obviously with natural gas, that is going to indicate that more people are buying natural gas, more people are burning and using natural gas, and that is going to cause the prices because of demand to obviously go up as well. And so I'm really more focused on what the report is going to say on Thursday. Most of what is going to happen with natural gas over the next couple days, Tuesday, Wednesday, is mostly going to just be buyers and sellers. It's mostly just going to be manipulated based on the number of people that are going to be buying this because of the value that they potentially see. When we get the actual report on Thursday morning, I believe at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, that's when we're actually going to see what the national reserves are, how much natural gas has been used over the previous week, things like that. That's really going to tell us what's going on with natural gas. So that's more what I'm kind of concerned about. In the next 2 days, I'm not really, bullish or bearish on it. I'm bullish in the sense that I believe that they should continue to uptrend, but the price action should not really affect me in terms of am I buying more because more people are buying, or am I selling my position because more people are selling? If anything, that should be a reason for me to just pick up a few more shares at a little bit discounted price. So I'm currently in at about 150 shares, and I would look to potentially sell out my UGAS position. So we'll go back to forward or just UGAS and look to be selling out my position somewhere around probably the $58 mark, and then seeing if it will continue to rip. And continue to go up. Now, if on this is the 1 day, 1 minute chart, if it continues to stay between this middle and upper VWAP, I will not end up selling out of my position. So as you can see on Friday, we got above at market open above the middle VWAP, which is the golden line right here. You have your upper VWAP, lower VWAP. We tended to stay above that. We did peak out right here at about 58.80, and then we did continue to trend down, but we are staying well within our middle and upper VWAP bands. And so as a day trade perspective, or even a swing trading perspective, if you can keep it above the middle and upper VWAP, you're going to be in a good position. All right, guys, so the next company I'm going to be taking a pretty long, hard look at this week is going to be ticker symbol CRON, Cron, also known as one of the more popular weed stocks that have been trending recently in the markets. Taking a look here at the 180-day chart, you're going to see that obviously Cron has come up from lows of about 580 all the way up to its current high of right at about 1477. It has had a high several months back of about 1530. So you would say, based on the RSI, based on some of these technical indicators, that it is overbought right now, and you would be expecting a pullback. Now, with the market being so bullish currently, I tend to think that if we can get a break above $15 right here, we may continue to see Cron continue to rip and continue to go up. Now, the one thing we do need to keep in mind though is if the markets do end up turning bearish, we should see this start to correct, and this will be a short position that I will be getting in. If it cannot break through that $15 barrier right in this point, I'm going to be looking to short Cron basically from right here at about $15. And then most likely at least covering down to here for about a 5-6% return, if not continuing to ride it down based on the technical indicators. If we can see that this MACD begins to reverse. Right now we're seeing some buying volume or some buys going in. The MACD indicator is pointing up. It's looking like it is basically a bullish pattern here. You also can take a look at the 1 day, 1 minute chart here. It's trending between the middle and upper VWAP. This is a good sign if it can continue to start right here and continue to do this uptrend pattern. I see no reason why Cron will not continue to go above $15. But like I said, if it can't break that $15 price point, we are going to see it start to sell off pretty heavily. Now, Cron is also related to CGC, which is another, I believe it's Canopy. It's another weed stock, and this is kind of like the main one. If we take a look at the 180-day chart on CRON, You're going to see lows right here at about 24.50 all the way up to highs of about 59.65. It has had a consistent uptrend pattern. We are starting to get up to a level of resistance. I think just in basic, drawing, basic charting and chart analysis, I'd say that we maybe have a little bit of a resistance right here. And just watching out for this, if it does hit this little bit of resistance here, to see some sell-off. Now, if for some reason Cron does not start to trend down at that $15 price point, and we don't see CGC trend down as well, then we're gonna have to start to realize that Cron and CGC are not linked. This is kind of like, it's like the Mac Daddy of all weed stocks. So I like to look at this one kind of like how I look at forward slash NG when I'm looking at UGAZ and DGAZ, because that is really how UGAZ and DGAZ react, is based off of natural gas futures. Similar thing currently right now with CGC and Cron. Next ticker symbol we are going to be taking a look at is none other than good old Netflix. Now, I'm really pissed because Rhett and I had gotten in on some some put options on Netflix prior to earnings. Now, the problem was we were correct in our analysis, but because we bought the wrong call options, we ended up actually losing a large amount in those call options. Now, if the markets continue to do well, I could see this potentially reversing. You can see kind of a little bit of a level of support right down here at about that $336, $337 price point, and then seeing this start to trend back up. You're looking at about a 5 to 6% potential, for profit on this, if you are swinging Netflix. Now, I don't like that the potential for error or for loss is also another 5.94. You're pretty much right in the middle of support and resistance. I also do not like that your MACD indicator is pointing down in a bearish trend. Same thing, your RSI is kind of leveled out. It's not oversold by any stretch of the imagination. But I do believe that if we do see a downtrend in the market, we are going to see Netflix continue to sell off. So if the overall markets at the SPY is down, look for Netflix as a good potential short for the upcoming week. Next company we're going to be taking a look at is going to be none other than Apple. Apple is one that I've been looking at getting into for a long-term trade, or even like a long-term swing, several months into this one. The problem that I've seen right now is that it is having an issue getting above this $160 price point. You can see where before it had come up here, it was trying to break past this 160 price point. We had that massive sell-off down here to 142, and now we're kind of seeing it start to uptrend, came back down. It's using the EMA and it's trying to come back up. I see the SMA line being a potential area of resistance on Apple, as well as this $160 price point. So I am not going to buy into Apple until I see that it can break through this $160 price point. If it can, I think that this might be a nice potential long-term swing trade or long-term investment. Getting in it at Apple at around that $160 price point up to its previous highs. I mean, you're still looking at about a 44% return. Apple at these prices is just kind of crazy. To me, it's a good deal, especially long term. RSI definitely a little bit oversold or overbought, pardon me. But this buying volume and everything going on right here, I like the idea that if the economy continues to do well, trade war things start to die down, Apple will continue to trend up. On the flip side though, if Apple does end up not being able to break 160, I could see a nice little scalp play, maybe a day trade, where you could potentially get a little bit off of these. I would most likely buy call options as opposed to shorting this. Buying put options as opposed to shorting this, because of the fact that my return is going to be so small. If I were to just short Apple, I would need hundreds of thousands of dollars, whereas with put options, I could make quite a bit of money in a short play. Next company we're going to be talking about is one that I have traded quite a bit over the past couple of years, and that is going to be none other than good old NVIDIA. NVIDIA has started to really do well, as most companies have over the past month, kind of rebounding from this massive market crash that we have recently had. NVIDIA has a lot of upside potential if you're riding it from where it is currently at up to its highs. NVIDIA has just gotten smashed because of the trade war rumors, because of the market issues in general, and cryptocurrencies dying off so much. NVIDIA was hammered very hard. I do think that this is, if you are getting in this in a long-term play, expect this to take some time. I don't expect it to just rebound up drastically or rapidly, but I do think this is a nice long-term play, or nice swing trade for the long term if you're able to get in here. What I'd love to see with NVIDIA is I would love to see this pull back, hopefully to the SMA. You're looking at about a 6 percent drop, and then seeing it rebound and bounce off of this SMA line as it starts to come down and then curl up. As you can get it curling up, I think we can see a lot of positivity in NVIDIA in terms of a long-term play. If we don't, then it's just not going to be something that I'm interested in getting in. Right now, it obviously is a little bit overbought on the RSI. MACD indicator is pointing at some green momentum, some good volume in terms of pushing that up. But again, I'm doing that with kind of like one eye open. I don't want to be too bullish on this. I want to be a little bit more skeptical in terms of what I would do if I was getting into NVIDIA this week. All right, and it wouldn't be a Young Money Investments video if we did not talk about one of my favorite stocks to trade, and that would be none other than Tesla. As of Friday, it sold off over 10% on rumors that Tesla was laying off a lot of employees. This, again, to me, is not one of those signs that, oh, Tesla is going to be going down. It's not one of those signs that Tesla is needing to be sold. It is at that magical $300 line of support. As you can see before, it's touched this line of support right here. This is at 293. We've also seen a level of resistance through here, which is also going to be known as support. You can see a little bit right here at 306. If you're buying anywhere between 306 to 300, I see Tesla as a great swing trade. Probably one of my favorites, and most likely one that I'm going to be adding to in my portfolio this week for sure. Just because I know the charts, I know the fundamentals so well on Tesla, I would be kind of a dummy to not get into this. And having kind of a stop loss right here at about 293, that's going to be kind of my limit in terms of my trade here. But I like from right here being able to ride this up to some of the old potential highs, looking at about 14.52% return. Losses are sitting right here at about 3.71 max. So loss to return very high. I really like this trade. And again, Tesla RSI is way oversold, about a 20 RSI. Yes, I'm getting in a little bit before the MACD indicator is pointing up, but that is because it has not really shown much of a reversal. I would actually hope that Monday morning, or Tuesday, pardon me, tomorrow morning, this would actually dip down. I love Tesla stock. Usually it does dip off in the morning and then rebounds quite a bit. That's kind of the way it's normally played out for me. Last company that we are going to be talking about is none other than SQ or Square. Square has done very well, kind of coming up here again from its lows of about $50 here back during kind of the bottom of our recession in December. Since then, it has gained roughly, I'd like to say about 43%, coming up here from about $50 to about $72.94. What I would do if I was getting into Square, and I think if the economy continues to do well, Square is going to be a great play. What I would like to see is that from here, we've seen a ton of green. The RSI is extremely high. It's at an 80. What I would actually want to do is hopefully short this. I honestly would love to get in here and be able to short Square. Let me actually zoom in a little bit further. Get in and actually short Square from the top. I mean, you're looking at about a nice little 5 to 6% short on Square. RSI is just so overbought. MACD indicator obviously is still pointing up quite a bit. I'm hoping that we can get up to some sort of high right in here. If I can get it in and get a short right here at about $74, I think this would be a nice little short down. You're looking at more closer to 7.5% in that short. And that would be kind of a swing short. I'd probably hold that for several days throughout the week, hopefully get several red candles and kind of bring it back down to support, where then I would love to actually buy into Square and then continue to ride this up. I think if it can bounce off of the EMA line and continue to show an uptrend pattern, being able to short Square and then ride that up would be a perfect play. So that is really going to be all of my plays, kind of my plans for the week. I can't think of anything else. That's a lot of information, but those are really the stocks that I am looking at, the plays that I want to get into. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, please leave them down in the comment section. Please hit that thumbs up button. I'm trying to get better video content, video quality. I hope this is better than some of the other ones. It's crazy, the life of a YouTuber, and trying to get the quality right and use these tools to my best advantage. So thank you so much for tuning into Young Money Investments. Thank you so much for everything you guys do in terms of leaving the comments down there and always being a part of the community. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.